What up, what up, what up? What's happening? Que lo que miente. Welcome to Love, Purpose, and Passports. Hope all is well and all are passport ready, a passport getting ready. For those of you that don't know, I am Mr. Pro for you, living in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, with this beautiful wife of mine right here, Miss Pro for you.
Hola, saludos.
So how you doing, Miss Pro?
Oh, I am doing fine. Thank you very much for asking
Ooh,
me.
you looking fine today.
Oh, thank you very much for
I
the
like
compliment.
it. I mean, you just kind of glowing and banging on them today a little bit. I kind of like that. Mm-hmm.
It's so many years and he still makes me nervous.
So, Miss Pro,
Why are you? Why is it when you look? Where are you looking at?
You know what I'm looking at.
Inappropriate.
My eyes can't help but go there. I don't even fight them anymore.
Oh Lord.
So, Miss Pro, it sounds like we got a little rain going on up in here.
It is raining outside, but that is not stopping the show.
It's not stopping anything.
No,
so if you
senor.
guys hear it, that's tropical Dominican rain.
Mm-hmm.
If it goes dark, that means the electricity went out. And we're going to keep it moving.
Tropicalization.
We're going to show you what happens when DR gets really DR-like. But today's topic, you're going to love it. You're going to learn something. And we about to get right to it. So today's topic is romance scams.
Romance scams.
The top romance scams in the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to enjoy these unless it's happening to you.
Then maybe not so much.
Not so much. We're going to keep it from happening to you.
Right.
So we're going to listen to you. I don't know. We got about 5 or 6 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we got 5 of them in a bonus. Make 6 sound good.
Mm-hmm.
So, Miss Pro, what's the first one?
So the first one is the most common one that everybody knows and talks about, the long game.
The classic long game.
The classic long game.
See, it used to be the long game. Now, it's the classic long game.
It's a classico. Mm-hmm.
So what is the classic long game for those of you that are new to the long game? This is one where you're online with her, you met her online, and she becomes your digital girlfriend. I mean, she hits you with the good morning text.
Mm-hmm.
She hits you with the good afternoon text.
Mm-hmm.
She hits you with the good night text. The pics, the videos.
Mi amor, ¿comiste? ¿Qué comiste? ¿Cómo te va? ¿Cómo te sientes?
The good morning prayers.
Mm-hmm.
This is nice. And you know why? I mean, this one, the reason it's a long game, because this one can go on for a year, 2 years, 3 years. And you know why it's the long game, the classic long game? Because you never show up to her country. I know the bros ain't having this problem, but for you aspiring bros.
Aspiring bros. I like that.
The aspiring fellas and fellas. I don't know if the fellas be going through that. I don't think the fellas be doing that. They ain't really getting,
But if they are, this will help you.
This will help you. Might teach them the game. They might decide to set them up an online account. Get them along, But anyway, so here's the thing about this right here. This is perfect for the guys that, or I should say the ones, when I say perfect, the perfect storm where you get wrapped up in it is because, like I said, you never show up, but it's your digital girlfriend. You enjoying it. You enjoying the attention. You have somebody to share things with. You have somebody to talk to. Well, so much for that. So the power just went out.
In the wise words of my husband.
Yep. Electricity's off. Inverter kicked in. Just so happens it kicked hard. So we're going to have to finish this in a little while. or this is going to be one of those as like the AC series, the broken AC series, because there's
it's
no
already
AC.
hot as hell.
Already starting. We got our
look. My posture has changed. I use profanity.
Yep.
Man.
Welcome to DR. We'll talk to y'all in a few. Love, purpose, and passports. Peace.
Love, purpose, and no electricity.
Love, purpose, and no electricity. Love, purpose, and down power outages. Love, purpose, and trying to get this done.
Love, purpose, and power outages. I like that one. Love, purpose, and power outages, my boy.
Yep.
A few moments later.
So we back.
Mm-hmm.
Full power. Electricity. ¿Cómo se dice electricity en español?
Electricidad. Energía.
Electricidad.
La luz.
So where were we? What it's like the long distance relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the long distance relationship, except it stays long distance. And even though that's considered a romance scam, in these situations, the guy seems to be okay with it because he's living like in a fantasy world,
right.
Which, I don't know if I knock him. I don't know if I knock him on that. I feel kind of bad for him because it's kind of like sad to have to, get some attention of, a beautiful young lady and, digitally. And that's all you can get.
Well, what makes it a scam?
Because they don't really like him like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They don't really like him. So it's a scam. You know what I mean? I think, and so we've seen some different ones. We've seen several different ones. We did a video about it where there was one young lady that really did like the guy. But the scam came in when, when you asking for too much money, you know what I mean? And kind of telling them, well, that's all you giving me this month and all of that stuff. More like taking advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Look, a man is letting himself be taken advantage of. It's kind of on him. But, we understand the situation that some guys find themselves in, especially, when they get a little older, right? Because a lot of these guys seem like they get a little older and, they just want some company. And, these young ladies sure do like to keep you company digitally. They know how to do it, So what do you think about that?
Well, when the scam comes in is most men don't mind helping someone that they really care about economically if they need to. But where the scam part comes in is that you're always giving them money. You're always helping them with something. You're always doing, and as time goes by, you realize I have spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a person who I've never physically touched. We don't have any plans to physically touch each other or meet anytime soon.
Nope.
And this is just where I'm at. I'm in like this vicious cycle of we talk, I'm happy, I'm in love, you ask for money. We talk, I'm happy, I'm in love, you ask for money. And then it always just continues there and never like gets out of that circle. And that's what makes it a long romance. What is it? The long game?
The classic long
game romance scam.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She probably then, got married, has a family going on, and like, this is my income right here.
Exactly. Yeah. And you just never really know because you've never taken the time to go see her.
Never took time to go see her. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about, like, we kind of want to mention which guys are susceptible to that.
Right. So
And we were talking about, like, sometimes it's basically lonely guys, but older guys tend to get sucked into that. Older guys ain't really getting no baddies like that. You know what I'm saying? They like get that attention, make them feel good and, all that. And so they get sucked into it. But really, here's the crazy part. A lot of them they would rather have that than nothing, a lot of times. So it's really the chick that's scamming, but the victim is like, okay with it, a little bit, you know what I mean? So, and I know a lot of our crowd isn't really that crowd.
But there is a crowd.
But just so you know, we never know who's watching. And so just be careful of the classic long game.
There's also another personality or type that tends to fall victim to the scam too. Men that are super, super busy for a regular relationship, right? Men that always find themselves doing something and can't really take the time to have like a regular relationship where they're spending a lot of time with each other and around each other and can't seem to get out of the country and go to where she's at. They find themselves happy with this type of relationship because right now that's all they can do. Right. So that's another thing too. That type of trait, that type of quality, people that live that type of lifestyle. They also tend to fall victim to these, and you don't even realize that you're a victim until time has passed by, and you say, "Man, I've spent this much money. It's crazy." So you don't realize it right then. It's
and a lot of times it's the family telling them. It's the family or the daughter, or look, especially a daughter, like, "Dad, who are you sending this money to? You sending all this money, but," and like, "That's my money. Mind your business." Oh. Yeah. So that was the first one, the classic long game. We all know, some of the bros are sharper than that, though. We know about the long games, you know what I mean? But that's the long game. That's the first one, classic. So, beautiful lady mine, where are we? What's the next big scam they got going on?
So the next big scam has actually a very interesting name. It's called the pig butchering scam. That's a thing.
The pig butchering scam.
What's that?
That lets you know they're getting busy. So the pig butchering scam, let's see who's the pig that's getting butchered. Oh. Man. So the rain has started again. So we may have to do this in segments, but we about to keep it going. We got love. We got love for the homies that be rolling with us.
We got love.
Shout out to the supporters of the channel.
I know supporters of the channel.
This week, he stood tall by himself. The biggest supporter of the channel for the week, Antonio Denmark. AD.
Denmark.
Baby.
Gracias, señor.
We appreciate you. Thank you for the support.
Thank you.
We love you for that.
We got love.
We got love for the homies that be rolling with us. Back to the video. The pig butchering scam is when they love bomb you to death. They dropping them bombs on you. They hitting you with them Mi Amores. They hitting you with them Mi Cielos. They hitting you with the I love yous and all of that. Telling you how handsome you are.
And it's over the top. It's like as soon as you meet them, they're already in love with you and married, and I've never met anyone like you before, and never in my life did I ever think this was going to happen. And it happens immediately, and it happens quickly, and it's intense. It's intense.
They drop those love bombs on you, and it feels good.
Right.
They like it, and so the love bomb is already getting you primed to, digging that pocket. I mean, they know how to get to them pockets. Ooh. So, they've been hitting you with the love bombs, and all of a sudden, and a lot of times the guys they're concerned anyway and just want to kind of volunteer sometime to give them a little money sometimes. Well,
the thing with the pig butchering scam, because it is a scam, is that they love bomb you so much that you almost become like dependent on it. Oh, and then like when they want something from you, they take it away. And now you're like, wait a minute, what happened? Take it away? What happened?
The love bombs.
They take away the love, they take away the emotion, they take away that thing that you
go dry on you.
Yeah. And then once you give them what it is that you want, or what it is that they want, they go back to love bombing you again, and it feels incredible. It feels overwhelming. You're getting everything that you need from this person,
cold-blooded,
online, right? It's not a face-to-face thing, but then they completely take it away from you. And then there's actually a definition to it. If you look at it, it says that people that are part of the pig butchering scam, normally the person will either try to get them to give them money or maybe get them to invest in something too. So that's something to think about there. It's not just you're giving the money to maintain them, or it could also be like, let's do this business together.
Because then they know you're going to dig deeper into your pockets. You're going to dig into that account.
Exactly. I really need this from you. We can do this together. Let's build this life together. And before you know it, because this person is love bombing you so much and you trust them so much and you don't want them to take it away, Now you're involved in a business that you didn't know you were going to be involved in.
And usually it involves crypto.
And it sounds crazy, but when it's happening, not really.
They don't know it. They're feeling so good.
Right.
You know, they're feeling so good. And then when they pull it away, they're not thinking that she's doing something. They're thinking that they did something wrong. You know, like, what's going on? You know, you okay? What's, you know?
And these people are professionals. If something like that has happened to you, don't feel like, oh, I'm such a fool. These people are professionals.
Oh, no, these are pros.
They understand the psychology of people, you know, and they understand how to push the right buttons to get you to, I guess, kind of feel a certain way. And then once you're there, then that's when they come in and they manipulate. They're master manipulators. So it's not you.
They are.
You know, that's why it's a scam.
Yep. And so
who are the type of people that generally fall for these scams? Like,
that would be someone who doesn't really get attention.
Yeah.
You know, they don't really get attention like that. It's a new thing. You know, like the average person doesn't get told they're beautiful or they're handsome.
Yeah.
You know, the average guy in general, and a lot of times, like you said, they prey on older people a lot, you know, because older people tend to be more lonely, you know, than younger people. But they're not really told, you know, you looking like Superman today. Oh, Superman, you look so nice. You know, I mean, she might tell me that all the time. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm used to, you know, like.
Like my baby.
She got me. Mm-hmm. I just realized it. But yeah, those type of people. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say also, I was kind of reading up on it, and they were saying that this scam is more popular now than ever because so many people are working remotely, and they're working from places where they're isolated a lot, meaning that they don't have a lot of human contact. They don't have a lot of people around them. They don't go out a lot. They tend to be more solitary, right? Yeah. And when you tend to find yourself alone a lot, believe it or not, human beings need human beings. We need to be around each other, right? Yep. So then when you do get that human being contact that you haven't been around for such a long time, you end up falling prey to the situation, to the scam. So that type of person is also the type of person that could maybe be involved in these scams. Yeah, that makes sense. And I mean, you know, just digital dating is, I mean, it's so normal now that you caught up in the scam before you know it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, people are doing just video chatting just on the regular, you know, in a regular day. You know what I mean? So video chatting with someone, they may be across the world. I mean, that's so normal now, right? It is. It wasn't in our day. We were embarrassed about it. I wasn't embarrassed. I'm like, yeah, look at this fine. I'm hollering at you. It's so cute. Yeah. But no, that's the pig butchering scam. A horrible name. I'm telling you. Butcher? They ain't got no mercy on you. You getting pig butchered. Inappropriate. So, Peter Folletti of mine, what's the next scam we got for our people? This scam is super popular and it's called the emergency scam. What is that? What could that possibly be, mi amor? One of the DR favorites. This one right here, you know, you've been hollering at her, you know, you just seen her in those little shorts and everything. She just waiting till, you know, she just showed you them shorts a couple times. Then all of a sudden, she's going to have them on when this happens. Yeah, that brother's starving. All of a sudden, she hits you with the emergency. Now, I'm talking about the absolute DR legend is the empty refrigerator. Poppy, I need to eat. I'm sorry, I don't usually ask, you know, I don't want to ask you for anything like that, but she needs to eat and she's going to send you that picture. And if you do a reverse search, you're going to see that picture is all over America. It might be in Europe. Canada. They've been sending up empty
refrigerator pictures. Another one, the surgeries. Abuela needs surgery, emergency surgery.
Gente.
She needs a surgery. Another one, she sends you a picture where she got the IV connected to her wrist. If you look closely, it's a fish air pump cord taped to the fish air hose, taped to their wrist. They need some money for that. Another one, another favorite. Poppy, I'm about to get evicted. I'm 2 months behind in my rent and I didn't want to say anything, but now we about to get put out. Another one. When they need to go to the hospital, when you go to the hospital, what else do you need after you go to the hospital? You need medication.
Medicina.
Medicina. Poppy, I need medicina.
I see.
Another one.
There are a lot of these.
Oh, this is a DR favorite. This is a DR favorite. Poppy, my semester's about to start. I gotta pay for school.
Okay.
I need books immediately. So this is the emergencies, and I'm sure there's a lot more emergencies that they can come up with. This is the emergency scam.
You do know we have free universities here, right? Just throwing that out there. Ask her what university she's in and do a quick Google search to see how much. And a lot of them are free. Just ask questions.
Yeah, all of a sudden, you showed up and she want to get her doctorate. This one should have been the classic emergency scam because this is it. You chilling with her, everything's fine. She seems to be living her life. Then all of a sudden she hits you with it. And the thing is it the truth? You don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but what you do know is if you give her some money for that one, another one is going to pop up.
That's how you know it's a scam. Because, how can someone be so unlucky? It can't just be like problem after problem after problem. They needed to go to the hospital to go pay for abuela, so you gave her the money. And on the way there, the taxi cab, la atracaron, they took her money, they stole it, so she couldn't go to grandma. So now she has to pay a ransom, but she still has to pay grandma. But lo and behold, the money that you sent her is miraculously gone. There's always like a problem. There's always a problem. And then when she gets home after you paid that off, there's no food in the refrigerator. Like, it's always something.
How was she existing all of these years before you met her?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. God sent you.
Pero mi amor, what are the type of people that normally get caught up in these Dominican emergency scams?
Well, definitely the guys that like those little shorts. They know what they're doing. But also, here's the thing that some Americanos feel like they want to do. You feel like you the savior.
Okay.
You feel like you Captain Saver. No. Captain Saver, no. We try to stay monetized. So, you got this thing where, what happened? Oh, nothing. I thought I heard a click.
I did.
Traumatized from the
inverter?
Yeah. So, yeah. But you do have these guys with this, they want to be a hero. And
save the nose.
Yeah. They want to be Captain Saver, no. But, and I get it. You don't want to see you feel like they're living in poverty. You feel like your little $30, $40, $100, $200 is no big deal if it could change their lives. Not going to change their lives. It's not going to. And here's the thing. It's all in the intention. We're talking about a scam. We're talking about them setting you up for that. You know what I mean? They're not going to, they'll appreciate you. Everybody appreciates money getting dropped off. but you're not going to appreciate you as a person. You know, you're the Americano that they couldn't wait to get that from. So be careful. These are the guys that tend to get, you know, hit with that. And on top of that is guys who really don't understand, you know, anything that's going on. You know, you're taking it for face value. There are a lot of guys who haven't really, you know, with YouTube now, like, you know, when I first started coming out here, it wasn't all these YouTube videos like this. So a lot of the guys are a little more advanced in understanding, you know, the type of things that happen, but there are still guys who are new to this and guys who don't really, you know, who may not believe it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And them cheeks make you believe anything. Boy, you say that, you're like, oh yeah, I got to give it this little ain't money ain't gonna hurt nothing. It's not gonna hurt nothing. You know what I'm saying? But it's not legit. It's a scam. You know? So be careful about, you know, these emergencies that pop up. You know, look, you got your own discernment. You know what I'm saying? But maybe there is an emergency. But did you see it? You know, the old car accident and all of that. Did you see it? You know, is there any way for them to show you? I mean, look, that empty refrigerator, man. That one been going. They'll show it to you. They hit you with they're good at it. They know what to do. Get a few dollars from you. So let's just say you do it once. Just wait for it to happen again. And then say, yep. Be disappointed.
Oh,
and then tell her to send you another picture with the shorts on. You know, you be okay. And then just don't, you know, give you the money.
The shorts will make you feel better?
They make you feel better. Your money's still in your pocket.
Good-hearted, kind people don't normally go into a situation thinking that they're going to be scammed. Mm-mm. Because you're a good, decent person, you automatically see through the lens of a good, decent person, meaning that you're not going to automatically assume that the person that you're talking to is not a good, decent person.
Nope.
So because of that, people that are good, decent people tend to get, I guess, scammed.
You're taken advantage of.
Yeah, they get taken advantage of because of that. Yeah. And it's understandable. But just like my husband said, you know, one time, maybe, okay, yeah, I'll help you out. But if you see that it's something that's consistent and that they always have an issue and they always have an excuse, well, now you know it's a scam.
It is. So, they're scamming you. They're going to ask you again.
And they're scammers. The fault is not yours. They're the scammers.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. You know, because you think, I mean, they'll make you you'll feel like you're saving the day. I mean, they've been living, always remember, they've been living and existing and doing just fine before they met you.
See?
You know, and so keep that in mind. The emergency scam. Yeah, I'm bigger than you, so I'm supposed to take up more space. You're supposed to.
Bigger than me. I like that.
What scam is that?
Oh,
what scam is that? I was starting to reach for my wallet just now. Oh, man.
You were not about to reach for your wallet. Oh, yeah, they're reaching for the wallet.
Nah, I get that for free. So, beautiful lady of mine, where are we?
We are at another one, which could kind of be considered a classic, right? Because we've heard about this one before. It is called the family business scam.
The family business scam.
What is that, mi amor?
The family business scam is where you got here, you in your Airbnb or your hotel room, you holler at her and make arrangements for her to come by. And she comes, and when she get dropped off, you know, she may come on the motor or come in a taxi, but the driver is the husband.
Dun, 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 dun. He is okay with it.
Yes. And most of the time, it's because you've been breaking bread. He gets to, you know, she's taking that money and taking it back home and then enjoying the proceeds. You know?
Indeed.
Yeah. This little moment you came for, you know, she's going to give you a good time. And, you know, you're going to continue breaking bread even when you get home. And so that's the family business. The family business. And so, you know, that's the family business because he handling business, you know, at some time. So here's the thing about this one. it's not a scam if you really haven't invested into it like that. You know, it's kind of like a dry run for them. You know what I mean? Yeah, they ain't really hit like that. But it is a scam. It is something to look out for. And the thing is, like, that one is kind of hard to figure out sometimes, right? You think about it? Yeah, I think that one is kind of hard to figure out, but we just want you to know what happens, because if you see her, she got to move funny, you know, all of a sudden she has to leave, you know, or she's on her phone, you know, the phone ringing, while you trying to, get to know each other,
Possibly if she brings guy friends around that are her relatives. You just never know. You just never know what's really going on there, I
would advise not to even show up with no male relatives. Meeting somewhere. You're definitely not going to bring them back to your room.
No.
But when you go out somewhere with her, and you can tell, man, you can get some vibes that is not really right. And don't allow that anyway. If she's coming with her homegirl, her sister, or something like that, that's fine. But that does happen. And if you start seeing some funny things going on, just think about that, because you might say, oh, this is why she acts funny sometimes.
No, that's a real scam. Yeah, that's a real thing.
So what do you think about that, beautiful?
Well, I was going to say, the husband and wife scam is typical here. There is another scam that you don't really see here, but you will see in other countries, where the entire family is kind of involved, or they all kind of know about it. Or like the family knows that like she has a husband and they're okay with it, but like here, normally that's a private between the man and the woman thing. Like if the woman's family, like her mom and her dad were to find out about it, they'd be
bring shame on the family.
They'd be very embarrassed,
Yeah.
So typically here, you will see that it'll be the couple, and then the woman will come home and bring like money to her man or to her husband or boyfriend or whatever, and the family and nobody really like knows about it.
Yeah,
that's very shameful for a family,
right?
Yeah. Especially if they have children. Very shameful if they were to find out. But maybe in other countries, you'll have the entire family that they know about it, and because they're also receiving from the money, well, they don't really say anything about it. So that's another family scam, not necessarily here, but definitely happens.
Yeah, and you hear rumors going around about it happening here like it's a common thing. Oh, the whole family's involved. That's not a thing like that.
No, but it'll be mostly the boyfriend.
Yeah, it'll be mostly the boyfriend, but the whole family, where you talking about the mama and dad and all of that stuff. You must be really messing around with some low bottom in the cut.
Very rare.
That's an embarrassment to the hood. You know what I mean? You saying that's like that. That's not a thing. The rumor makes it sound like it, because that's a rumor that's circulating around and it just never dies. Oh, the whole family's involved. That's not a thing like that. If it's happened to one person, if it's happened to two people, okay. I mean, but the rumor makes it sound like that this is a thing that always happens. You always got to watch out for the family. That's not the case.
Well, I can even add to your point too. Look in the case of cities that are known for having fast women, right? The women that are in that city generally aren't from that city.
Yeah, the women that are working in that city.
Right. They aren't from that city. And that's because it's an embarrassment for them to do it at home.
Exactly.
They don't want the family to know.
Nope.
So they leave where they're from, and then they go to those hot cities, right? To do whatever it is that they're doing, because it's embarrassing to have their mother and their father and their children.
Imagine saying a father's involved in their daughter doing something
very,
like that.
very.
Come on. Nothing like people don't have pride and
no.
want to be seen as upstanding people, and come on. That's ridiculous.
So it's a scam,
but it can't happen.
Yeah,
it can't happen. Who's susceptible to that?
Who?
Well, I would say more like you're not really vetting properly, and especially if you think if you're trying to have something serious with the person. you're not really vetting because if you're in that space where you're vetting her, you've talked to her all times a day, all times of evening. And, she got a husband at home. There's certain times that she's going to be missing, in the evening. And
key times.
Yeah, she ain't got no job. You're the job. So, yeah, I would just say somebody who's not really vetting, and sometimes guys, everybody's not vetting. Sometimes you just think you're meeting somebody that you could, date whenever you're out here, and you are. But know that sometimes if she's moving in a way that she has somebody that somebody could possibly be filling that space on the regular, it is. That's the easy way to deal with it, because who wants to deal with someone that has a husband?
Right.
Who wants to deal with someone that has a boyfriend? You're in somebody else's country, so it's not like, there can't be a situation and the people are not going to be on your side in something like that. If the boyfriend runs up on you or the husband runs up on you, people going to be on his side, right?
Yeah. And I wanted to add to what you said about who tends to fall for these type of scams. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it'll be like men that you want it so bad that you're not, like you said, vetting. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people are so excited and they come with a mindset of, I'm coming here and, I'm going to find a woman and I'm excited about it. And this is what I'm going to do. And, you still have to go through a regular process. You still have to go through the regular relationship steps.
Yep, you still go through the vetting. Yeah, and that's if you really like her and you really want to and you're trying to be with her. Yeah, because you could have been at home and you're busy. And here's the thing, like, it's harder, and I just thought about this, it's harder to have that constant communication on video chat when you're in different time zones too. You know what I mean? Because see, we were in the same time zone all those years and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, when I call her, it's either if it's 7 p.m. where I'm at, it's 7 p.m. where she is, or it's 8 p.m. where she is, depending on the time of year. But when you're like, let's say you're on the West Coast and now there's a 3-hour time difference, it's kind of harder to gauge what she's doing on a regular basis in the evening, because time here will be so far ahead, than time there. And so it may be hard to see, like, look, they're cooking dinner every night, and sitting down, they eating and then get on, she jump on with you. But anyway, it's much harder when you're not in the same time zone. So you get out here with her and then she might be moving a little funny or whatever. Mm-hmm. And this could be one of the things that's happening. She could have a boyfriend. She could have a husband. And they could be scamming you. You're not scamming you if you haven't, cracked that wallet open. Any sneezing you got to do?
No, hair break. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. Ready?
We moving through. This is going to be a short video.
Uh-huh.
So beautiful lady mine, where are we? I think we at number 5.
We are at number 5, and this one is a serious one. Mm-hmm. Okay, this one is called the underage scam. Now, I learned about this one from you. Explain to the guys what goes on there.
The underage scam. This is something that you really need to be careful with, because this one kind of involves extortion. Now, matter of fact, these next 2 kind of involve extortion. That's why we say them for last. So this one is, you get here, and you've connected with a young lady, and you may not even, you could have been talking to her before you got here, or you could have met her online when you got here, and now you're making arrangements for her to come see you. She comes to see you at your Airbnb or your room or whatever, and while you guys are sitting back enjoying yourself or whatever, at some point when she gets ready to leave, or while you walking around, your phone's gonna ring. And your phone's going to ring, and they're going to tell you the girl you with is underage, and if you don't give them some money, they're calling the cops right now. Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. All of a sudden, this beautiful trip then turned into a trip.
Wow.
You wondering, like, what do you do now? Which is, an interesting thing to think about ahead of time, because, it's really if you're not thinking about something like that happening, you know, what do you say? What do you do? You know, what are you going to do? They're saying they're calling the cops. Give me the money. Give them the money. Should you give it to them? You might have to.
That's hard.
Yeah, you might have to.
Wow.
Just to get on with your trip. You're not going to feel, you're not going to be able to get energized anymore. Let's say that's your first day and you got 4 more days to go. You're just not going to really be feeling that energized. You know, the tropic ain't going to really hit like that. The tropical weather in Presidentes ain't going to really hit like that. So you may have to pay him. You know, what you think about that?
That's a scary situation to be in. I couldn't imagine what someone would be thinking going through something like that. You're just trying to have a nice time with a nice young lady that you think is a nice young lady, and then all of a sudden it turns into a horrible experience in a foreign country where you don't know anyone or have anyone or even speak the language well.
Right.
Could you imagine the horror?
Oh
my God.
And here's the thing. She may be underage, but she probably not underage. It's a scam.
Yeah, you could never tell because it's a scam.
Yeah.
Right? These are professionals. Like they've been doing this.
Yeah, they don't have to use an underage girl. But how do you know?
Right.
You know? So again, who you think is susceptible to that? You know, I don't know. You know, it's hard to figure out because that thing can get sprung up on you so fast, you know? And so I'll talk about before we done, maybe ways to avoid it because it's hard to figure out. Anybody can get hit with that. You know, if you're just meeting somebody on the fly, and that's another thing. Sometimes guys feel like, well, you know, I don't want to pregame. You know, I don't want to meet some young ladies when you meeting them before you get here.
Oh.
You know, you meeting young ladies because she could still be like, say you met 3 young ladies. Still could be one. You know, you don't really know. And so, what you think about that?
Well, when we were talking, when we were preparing for this video and we were looking over topics and we were trying to figure out what type of men get, you know, involved in these horrible type of scams. And I had initially said, well, I think that if a man chooses a younger lady, he might be more
susceptible to that
happening. Because obviously if you choose someone who's a little bit older in age, that you know is older in age, it's not going to happen. You know, she's not going to be underage, right? You know, but you did say something that was very interesting. You said that she's probably not underage anyway. You know, so, you know, I guess there really isn't a concrete way to determine how old she is, unless I guess she maybe shows an ID or something.
Right.
You know,
I think this is the type of situation that's more about like damage control once you find yourself in it.
Okay.
You know, one way to try to protect yourself is if the opportunity comes up, like, okay, her ID, that can tell.
Yeah.
Well, some places require ID.
I see.
You know, you can see if you get an opportunity to see her ID, but that's not going to help you. You know, if you don't have it in your phone, you can take a picture of it. You know, I don't know how you ask a young lady to take a picture of her ID without, I don't know, offending her or something. It's kind of weird, you know what I mean? But if you can, but one thing you can do for sure is you can just ask her by text message how old she is.
So you have record.
And you have it in your phone. You have that at the least.
See. Yeah.
You know, ask her, you know, and you can say, can say something like, you know, I wanted to ask just because I wanted to make sure, you know, there's no trouble or anything. And so she should be more than willing to tell you how old she is.
Right.
And so if they try when you get there, then you at least, if the cops do come, you can show them.
Right.
You know, I would think that, you know, because we're talking about damage control. I would think that if you don't have anything proving her age, depending on how much money they're asking for, pay them. Because it's better to just get that situation out of the way and get past it than to drag it. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if they have a cop that's coming that is on their side.
Oof.
What if he hates Americanos? What if he thinks you're just a sex tourist? What if he think anything? They can look at you any kind of way when that type of allegation comes up and you don't know who's coming.
Right.
Look, give them the money, and then block them. Check into a different hotel if you have the money to do that. Because it's a terrible situation, but it's better to think ahead if this kind of thing ever happened than it happens and now you just kind of panicking. You can't even really think what to do. You've been drinking,
Right.
You've been upstairs getting busy. Really feel crazy then, huh? You like, man, I got this DNA on me. You've been watching the Diddy trial. Woo!
But I can see how that could be a scary situation.
It can be. Yeah, I'm laughing about it, but really take this thing to heart because it can happen. It has happened.
I was going to say, I don't really see how, going back to a point that you said, yeah, you're right. It probably would be very difficult for someone to send you their ID or a picture of their ID. Yeah, it'd be hard to trust someone with like information like that. I guess maybe showing them would be one thing, but sending them to you might be
you
a
need
little
something.
hard.
Yeah, you need something on you in your phone, where you asked her, how old she is, and you can have a picture.
Yeah.
You got a picture of her in your phone. You can see where you asked her, her age. And when she tells you now, if she lied, that's different. It's still a bad situation, but like I said, that's something if you want to stand up and, nah, I'm not going for this. And the cops do come.
Right.
It's a scam. The cops may not come.
Exactly.
But it's easy to talk about it like this. In real time, things are happening fast. That's why I said you've been up there, being nice to each other, and you done had some drinks and all that. Your mind is just going to be like, man, I gave alcohol to him. I ain't took no shower. If they take me in, I got this DNA on me, all that.
Scary.
So yeah, it's a serious situation. So be aware, and be safe about it.
Right.
So beautiful lady of mine, this is that bonus one right here. We getting there. We are getting there. We here. What is the next one?
Sextortion.
This is similar to the last one and where it's extortion involved.
Right. With
this one, she's sending you videos. She's sending you pictures. And what tends to happen when you guys got that, that open, picture videos thing going on, you send her yours too. So now she got your pictures and she got you, expressing yourself on video,
Or even if you're on videos expressing at the same time, she could be recording it.
She could be. And so, exactly. And so, see, we ain't had that problem. But you may have that problem. What they do is as they've been finding out information about you, they may know about your job. They may know that you're married. They may know about anything. They take those pictures that they have of you and pictures that, you have of her that you've exchanged with each other, and they extort you with it. They say, we're going to show, we're going to go public with these pictures and everything. They could say they're young. They could say anything. But a lot of us, a lot of people don't want that type of activity out in the open. So that's how they end up extorting you for that. They say they're going to give you they need some money for that.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What you think about that?
Well, I mean,
it's hard to be free.
Some people want to be free. So you might meet someone and you might think, wow, I met the one where I can be, myself with, where I can be free
yourself.
with, where I can, not knowing that this person all along is allowing you and even encouraging you to be freer with
gathering
the
intelligence
thing in mind, to like extort you later on.
Mm-hmm.
So, they're encouraging you to go further, to do more, to do other things that you're like, wow, this is you. You're enjoying yourself, thinking that you've really met someone who
on video together
with. And you're thinking you're having like a nice adult time with this person while this person is evil.
Yep.
And looking at a scam, a way to scam you out of your money.
Yep. So that's something to be aware of. We're not saying don't enjoy yourself. But again, some things require vetting, and vetting takes time. Part of the vetting process is meeting them in person. You can't just be vetting via video. You have to go see them. And so when you've seen this person a couple times, you begin to know that this is a person that you can do certain things with. You're taking a chance these days because the scammers are getting scammier.
Yeah.
And they're doing things. So, you always protect yourself. If you ain't got nothing to protect, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Enjoy yourself. But there are some people who their privacy, is very, very important, and it can ruin some things in their lives. And that's what these scammers are banking on. Again, what do? That situation is harder. Yeah, you may have to pay them. You know what I mean? And if you pay them, who's to tell they're not going to ask for some more money?
Right.
Every now and then they may put you on the payment plan. Yep. So be careful out there. These scammers are serious. There's whole scammer crews and scammer call centers and everything out there, right?
There are scammer call centers.
Here, no.
Yeah, we haven't heard of any of that.
Yeah, they just gonna get you one-on-one, or maybe another person involved, But, when we talk about the scamming that goes on around the world, I mean, their whole operations and stuff. Mm-hmm. But here, it's not that it's that bad. We just want you to be aware so you don't walk into something. But I will tell you this. Besides the extortion, besides the last two that are about extortion, a foolproof way to not get scammed? Keep your money in your pocket. Can't get scammed. You know what I mean? Or, like they say in investing, don't invest what you can't afford to lose. So, if you give her some money, say goodbye to that money. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it no more. It's not a scam. Mm. She played herself when you do it like that. But a lot of guys end up giving with their hearts. As our church try to tell you sometimes, give with your hearts, put what the Lord put on your heart to give. I don't want to go no further with that one, but you and your feelings. When you're in your feelings, that's when you're available to get scammed a lot. And so the longer the money's in your pocket, the longer for sure you're not getting scammed. So what you think about that?
Well, back to the sextortion thing. Who tends to be susceptible to fall into that scam?
Oh, we didn't get that part. Mm-mm. We did not talk about that. Who tends to be, what I think about the sextortion? The guys who, a little loose on that video cam.
Yeah.
They loose on that video cam. They quick to fire that thing up and get ditty with it. They quick to get ditty with it. Slow it down a little bit. What you think? Which ones you think are?
I agree. I think that most people that do regular stuff on video aren't really that embarrassed. Like they'll be embarrassed about it, but it's not going to ruin them. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? But if you're doing something that's completely different,
doing that next level stuff,
that might be something that you don't want anyone to see.
Exactly.
then those people are susceptible to sextortion. Also, people that are married.
Yep.
You know, or be susceptible
married.
to sextortion. Because if you're married, you know, the first thing they're going to say is, "Oh, I'm going to tell your wife," or you know, or I'm going to go to your business. That's the first thing you talk about. Where do you work? What do you do?
That is,
you know, and then you tell them, "Oh, I work in this company," and you're proud of it, not knowing that the scammer is writing that down and Googling the business and looking for it.
Exactly. So yeah, slow it down a little bit. Keep your private stuff private a little bit longer. Choose a little wiser.
Yeah, don't just start the conversation diddying. Like, get to know the person before you go full diddy. Like,
slow it down a little bit. Yeah, everybody ain't, you know, that's not for everybody.
No.
Not for everybody. So we want you to be safe out there, like we were saying. We hope you enjoyed the video.
We do.
Take notes. Share with your people that may not know about these scams. And before you do that, like and subscribe. Love, Purpose, and Passports. Peace.